Years ago I worked as the sole hourly employee on a team with salaried workers. This designation had been a mistake on my initial contract and my cool boss said she would switch me to salary just as soon as my first year contract was up. Unfortunately for me, just before my anniversary my cool boss left and a beachy co-worker got promoted. Request denied. No reason given other than I don't think it's necessary. A few weeks later we had this event that had been planned by cool boss, but since she left the company it fell to new beachy boss and the rest of us workers to staff it. The location for this event was nearly an hour away from the office. Everyone else could just show up to the location, but being hourly I had to first go to the office, clock in, then drive an hour. Oh well, guess I get paid for travel time. The night before the event we had hired a set building team to put everything together, but someone from our company had to stay until they were finished, per contract with the location. Beachy boss decided to make me stay as I was her least favorite, so the rest of the team left and went home. Well, there were major issues with the set, and by 10 PM it was just me and the one set builder left in the place as he was trying to make this thing work. Set builder didn't care as he was making a ton of overtime, and besides this particular configuration had been 100% his idea, so he was determined to solve it. I decided I didn't care because I had found some cushions to sleep on. I ended up dozing from about 11 PM to 5 AM when he finally finished and we could leave. I then drove an hour to the office, clocked out and went home, which was thankfully a short drive. I had an hour to shower, change and go back to the office to clock in, then drive an hour to meet everyone back at the location at 8 AM. We then worked the event with beachy boss again assigning me to stay later than her to supervise breakdown. So, in a 36-hour window, I ended up being on the clock for 33 of those hours. Monday morning beachy boss has to approve and submit payroll and only then does she realize that she has to pay me time and a half for those 33 hours. She actually had the gall to be mad at me for not warning her about all the overtime, which made me laugh as I explained I didn't think that was necessary since it was your idea to keep me hourly boss. Bit of a warning for the queasy descriptions gets a little graphic. The background is kinda long, but it's important to the story to understand how ridiculous this nurse was being and how clumsy I am. Background. Way back in the magical year of 2000, I was a teenager attending a summer camp. Usually, it was day only. Tons of outdoor activities, canoeing, hiking, swimming, archery, the works. I did not break my arm doing any of these. For the older 2 years of kids, they would host an overpass intense once a month. I was 13 and finally allowed to go and very excited. Got my tent, sleeping bag and friends. The night went as you would expect when there's 20, 13-year-olds intense with the adults nearby. We tried to pull as many stupid stunts as we could get away with. I got dared to stand on a picnic table and dance. 13-year-olds aren't very creative. So I got up there and did. In the dark. While it was raining. I did not break my arm dancing on a wet table in near darkness. When we all had a good laugh, I went to step down, using the bench, and missed. My leg plunged down in the gap between the bench and the table. I went down and forward, hit the bench on my way, pivoted around it really fast, and landed on my outstretched hands. There was an audible snap. My left forearm, bearing my full weight and sudden deceleration snapped in half. Didn't even break the skin. I remember rolling over, seeing my arm with suddenly 2 elbows, panicking, and pushing it back into place. Not perfectly, obviously. It was broken. But it was no longer at a 90-degree angle. That's when it started hurting. A lot. The ambulance took forever to get to us as they kept missing the turnoff for the campsite. I found out later they drove past it for most of that time. Eventually it arrives, I'm loaded in, and it's off to the hospital. When we finally arrive, it's been about an hour since I broke my arm. I've been in intense pain the whole time, and the EMTs hadn't given me anything for it. I don't remember why. The whole ride is very fuzzy. Here's where the malicious compliance comes in. I get brought into the main desk fridge area. This hag of a woman with permanent resting beach face starts asking me questions while the EMTs are standing by with me after telling her what they knew. It's a bit fuzzy, but the gist was this. Nurse, So, what happened? Me, I fell and broke my arm. It really hurts. The EMT said you could give me something while I wait. Nurse rolls eyes and makes a tut tut noise. Nurse, we have to get your arm x-rayed first to make sure it's really broken. We can't give you anything until we're sure. Now go take a seat. Me, I'm sure. It broke in half. Nurse, smirking. Really? You broke it in half. Prove it. I swear, I get kids like you all the time looking for drugs. Now, I'm beyond pissed. I've been in agony for over an hour, and this woman is treating me like absolute garbage. Even if it were just a sprain, shouldn't that warrant some kind of pain management? I'm holding my arm, think for a second, and decide. F it. As the EMTs are about to interject, I raise my left arm, grab the far end of my forearm with my right hand, and push. It bends. Very very far. Her face drains of all color, and she looks like she's going to be sick. She immediately gets on the phone. I'm now in 10 times the amount of pain, but I'm grinning as only a crap disturbing teen can. It took them less than 5 minutes to put me in a room, pump me full of morphine, set my arm in a temporary wrap. They then x-ray me and schedule the surgery. I had a plate and 5 screws put in, along with a full cast, that I kept on for about 6 weeks. They took the plate and pins out 6 months later. It was very painful and annoying, but other than an early scar my arm is totally fine. Thinking back on it 20 years later, still worth it. Thank you for watching. Slap that like button and comment your opinion on these stories below. I'm waiting. Write that comment. Seriously. Have you written it yet? If you don't comment, you make a bunny cry somewhere. You're not that kind of person. I know. Anyways, peace out and catch you tomorrow.